There you go. And we are going live. Hey everybody, I am Nicholas Live here with the CEO of Ildar. Now, before we get into a discussion and talk about his amazing ICO project right now, I'm going to quickly play for you guys the 2-minute intro, the video, so you guys have a basic idea what the project is about. Then we can get into the details, discuss some more. You guys can even ask your questions in the live chat, and I'll try to get as many answered as possible. Let me roll the video. See you guys in 2 quick minutes.
Hey, come here. Cryptocurrency is where I'm putting my money. Sometimes it can feel like this. But sometimes it could feel like this.
Give me your money!
Yeah, I prefer the first one. Hence, Well is an awesome ICO with a revolutionary implementation of blockchain tech, a working product, and solves a major problem. What's the problem? Oh, I don't know, maybe just one of the biggest problems in the world today. Healthcare! Take Ildar's broken leg here as an example. Yeah, what's he gonna do next?
Well, I'm probably
It's rude to interrupt. Normally, he'd find a doctor. He'd then deal with the doctor, sort through his options, get treated, deal with the bills, realize he was misdiagnosed, deal with the malpractice, drown in bills, go get a second opinion, get treated there, realize he was misdiagnosed, come home defeated, leg still broken.
Oh no! What?
Wowzer Roonies. Instead of dealing with all that, let me tell you how Well works. Well connects you with doctors wherever you are in the world, eliminating processing fees. Since you're dealing directly, you get the care you need without those thug middlemen who are pocketing your cash. And that means less bills. A lot less bills. Putting you back in this. Well is sort of like the Airbnb of healthcare. It's got ranking, scheduling, payment, and a network of providers anywhere in the world. And it includes encrypted medical storage and even has telemed access. Here's the CEO whose story this video is based on.
Thank you for watching our...
It's rude to interrupt. Well wants you to live longer. There've already been 40,000 consultations in the US. That's pretty cool. Purchase tokens today and get well soon. Hey, look at that. Ooh.
Well, hey guys, I'm back now. We're gonna talk about this project. It's joinwall.io. It's pretty much trying to transform healthcare and make anything that involves getting treatments a lot more easier. Even you can get even telehealth, which is via a video call. It's kind of quite revolutionary, I think. Now we're gonna cover lots of questions, and if you guys want to ask anything directly to the CEO right here, Ildar next to me, you can ask in the live chat. We'll do our best to cover any of them, and make sure you guys stay till the end because we'll try to cover as much details and specifics about this potential investment right with the CEO. Now, can you, first of all, where are you right now, Ildar?
I'm in Los Angeles today.
Oh, well, today's a very warm and beautiful weather in crypto, and I hope it's the same in Los Angeles.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Now, from your perspective, we already watched the video, and it was quite funny actually. What actually drove you to this idea? You were actually this was based on your story, right? This whole video.
That's right. 3 years ago, I broke my leg snowboarding, and then about 3 weeks later, I rebroke it, and literally it looked almost the same. Where I was just in the parking lot, and I fell down, and I had literally bolts and metal inside my leg, and I bent it. It looked almost as brutal as it does in the video. And basically I was just like a victim of how effed up, in my case, US healthcare system is, but literally it's a global problem where these middlemen, whether it's insurance companies or governments, control how we receive our healthcare, and determine basically one person, one doctor determines what treatment you're going to get. There's a lot of mistakes made. It's probably a leading cause of death right now in the United States and worldwide, whether it's mistreatment or misdiagnosis or non-treatment for that matter. And so I was a victim of that as a patient, and as a serial entrepreneur, I saw a huge problem and a huge opportunity to fix it. And I was kind of naive about healthcare, so I got into it. And in the process, that was 3 years ago, so I've been in healthcare for 3 years. in the process, I discovered even a bigger problem, as peeling the onion, which is this payment problem and mistrust problem. And basically, I saw even a bigger opportunity and a bigger problem to fix. And blockchain is just the perfect solution for that, to decentralize, to fix trust problem and payment problem. And that's what Well does right now with blockchain.
And you guys already function outside of blockchain before you even thought about, moving into an ICO. How long has the company been running?
So I came up with the idea 3 years ago. We had over 1,000 therapists. We conducted thousands of visits. And then we also have done now 40,000 teleconsults as well on our tele platform. So yeah, it's been around. The business has been around.
And for somebody who's a simple person like me, and I want to have something treated, right? So the first thing would be to actually be covered by your healthcare, right? And then I can also get some sort of a video call. If that doesn't work, even go to a local provider that works with you, right?
Well, yeah, the whole idea and why we call ourselves Airbnb of healthcare is that Airbnb kind of revolutionized trust even before blockchain, right? Like entrusting your stranger come to your home. And another big problem in healthcare is that you have $2 problem that sometimes is being solved with, hundreds of dollars. And then you have a $2,000 problem that is trying to be solved with $20 solution. And so when you have an online to offline platform that is automated with smart contracts and enabled by blockchain, you can actually match the problem with a solution. And that's what the virtual platform does. Whether it's secure message to a provider or, an order through online pharmacy, escalating to the telehealth visit and then to the actual physical visit.
That's badass. Okay. And you guys essentially are looking from this ICO to pretty much gather more funding, right? And bring your platform to a blockchain, right?
That's right. I mean, the biggest thing we're excited about the crowd sale is being able to build, a community of 100,000 members, which just has huge value for being able to build a network, a platform that has, members in it that are interested in what we're doing and want this service. So, and of course the funds as well. Building a platform is not an easy undertaking. And so this allows us to begin on that path and really conquer this problem.
Okay. And if somebody, already wants to check out your platform, before potentially investing, they can already use the beta, right?
That's right. Yeah, you can. It's a demo, and the reason it's a demo is because of HIPAA laws, where we can't reveal, our full platform with patient data and doctor data. So basically, you can log in as a patient or as pretend to be a provider, like let's say you and your friend, and then you can hop on a telehealth call and talk to each other on our platform. It's HIPAA compliant, which basically just means, protecting patient data. And you can't just use a Skype call for a video call with a provider because of these laws. That's why you need kind of your own video solution.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now, I actually have some questions that, some of my close friends asked, that really want to find out more about a project. And if you guys have your own personal questions, you can definitely post them in the live chat to learn more about this pretty interesting platform. Now, I guess the first, more deeper question would be, you guys already covered being HIPAA compliant, which is good. I was going to ask that actually. And which markets are you planning to enter first? So right now you're targeting the U.S. healthcare because that's where a lot of issues are visible right now, right? And what other countries as well?
So U.S. obviously, and we're in a pilot. One of our partners in a pilot with the St. Jude network of providers. And so we're starting with Southern California, and then where this partnership will lead us in the United States. And globally, we're really excited about Korea because, talking of Airbnb, they have a network of, this would be a medical tourism kind of solution, which also blockchain is perfect for cross-border payment and connecting with a virtual platform, connecting, let's say a patient from China with a plastic surgeon in Korea. And what's unique about Korea, and I don't know, you may have heard of Gangnam Style. There's a Gangnam district, and it's literally just a district of 100,000 plastic surgeons in Seoul or so. And there's a law in Korea where every doctor has to own their own clinic, just one doctor, one clinic. And so these are, great physicians, but they're not great business people. They don't know how to do accounting. They don't know how to do marketing. And so in essence, just like Airbnb allows you to, rent out your place and become a hotelier, we're going to do the same thing for the Korean plastic surgeons.
Oh yeah, that's I mean, travel medicine is really big. I know lots of places in Europe right now are, because right now I'm in Eastern Europe, and it's because of the difference in pricing, where something costs in America a couple thousands, ends up costing a couple hundred, somewhere in Europe or in Asia, right? So it's a very, very important factor, and solving that trust issue when it comes to change the payment changing hands, right? And you're actually carrying payment, because you can't really bring more than $10,000 on a plane. And if it's some expensive surgery, you're gonna need to have $100,000 or who knows how much. And you gotta you can't just carry that, and you wouldn't carry that in the first place. So you want to kind of in a digital escrow, right?
That's right. Yeah. And so there's, we're going to have a payment protocol, arbitration protocol, and reputation protocol enabled by blockchain. And you need all those three things, especially in healthcare. And it expands actually beyond healthcare. I think it's just healthcare is, especially because of mistrust and such high stakes, is very important. A huge problem, right? You're entrusting your health, your livelihood essentially into strangers' hands, and you want to make sure that you're safe, everyone is safe. And then, like you said, the payment issue, like for example, when we're in Japan, we're talking to there's a huge tourist industry, right? And tourists do get sick when they're in Japan. And so what happens is that they pay with their credit card, and then they just do chargebacks. And so the providers get, screwed in the process, because they think they get paid with a credit card, but then you can do a chargeback very easily, unfortunately, in the old economy, right? But you can avoid that with blockchain and cryptocurrencies. So that's what we will be solving as well for people. Oh, yeah. So it's not just, we're not solving just a problem for patients, and that's key when you're building a protocol. I mean, a platform. You want to solve a problem for both parties, right? And you want to make it better for both of them, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and some people will be surprised, but some people think like like the old system of wire transfers is permanent. No, it's not. You can get chargebacks on wire transfers. You can get chargebacks on anything in the old world, and that can't happen. And I mean, you can't really get a chargeback. Once send somebody Bitcoin, it doesn't work that way. So or Ethereum. So that's the really important part that blockchain is solving, especially when it comes to a very important topic, which is health. And now, so one person asked was, what does a Medicare certified actually mean?
It just means that we have a national provider identifier. It's NPI. So we essentially went through the process with Medicare, and it's kind of like the highest bar of being able to, in healthcare in the United States is when you get Medicare certified. You kind of, have arrived, quote unquote. Essentially we can bill Medicare, we can provide services for Medicare patients. Yeah, that's what it means.
Okay.
And it's a whole entire process. You go with the U.S. government where, you show them documentation and your network, and they check it out, and yeah.
No,
so it's like a stamp of approval.
How many people do actually work, full-time in this project right now?
So we have a lot of marketing and software. So we have over 20 people right now, and it's a pretty distributed team. But with the crowd sale, once we finish it, we're planning to collect, be all in one office. just centralized to make sure that or 2 offices, just so that we can start executing and building the platform, building it out completely. And yeah.
We don't expect this to be usable, actually. Do you have any dates or
So as far as our network in the United States, I feel like we're very close. I mean, we can at least start a pilot and start doing some of these, right away. Well, not right away, but once we finalize our crowd sale. As far as in Korea and globally, it may take time because of some regulatory aspects and just logistics. But I expect by Q3, by Q4 of this year, we'll be live in certain markets.
That's awesome. What's the process like with actual like medical insurance? Do you guys how much of that do you handle? Or what's the process with that? So me as a customer, I want to pretty much insure myself, when it comes to my health, right?
Yeah, so insurance is very regulated, especially in the United States. So what we're planning to do is work with self-insured employers and with individuals that want so-called gap insurance or even just a membership. So in essence, you may get, let's say, a high deductible kind of gap, and it's not insurance. It's membership that allows you access to our network of doctors, but we negotiate insurance type rates with them. And then what those providers, clinics, doctors love is that they will get paid, right?
For sure.
For sure. And so they're willing to negotiate with us and give us amazing rates that you as a consumer, as a patient, will not be able to get if you just go and try to negotiate with a doctor. But what they love is that unlike insurance or even government, they know that they will get paid once the payment protocol arbitration, all the things on the blockchain were executed properly. So we eliminate fraud that way as well. And so that's kind of like membership. And then as far as working with, like I said, with self-insured employers in Korea, let's say, or globally, once we start rolling out, it means basically that you'll be able to get, again, very discounted services through our platform and access to doctors. And so, like, let's say you live in Canada and you need, knee replacement or whatever, hip replacement, and you don't want to wait for 5 years, let's say, or whatever it is, then you decide to go to Philippines to do a surgery. We can, help you get the right provider at the great rate, and then that provider will know that they will get paid, and so that's kind of the plan, long-term plan.
Okay, and where does the actual token come into play?
So the token, there's a few aspects to the token. Obviously, it's a form of payment, to receive tokens until fulfillment of service is received. There's also, going to be tokens for resolution of disputes through trustless voting, and finally there's going to be kind of reputation scores. So it's not just like where I'm too nice of a guy, but I think I've given less than 5 stars once in Lyft and Uber. But there will be also like token for managing reputation scores, and especially for doctors, right? So
yeah, it's very important actually getting the right doctor. That's the hardest part, actually.
Absolutely. And sometimes with these online rankings, you can't really trust them either, because there's a lot of fake reviews and people game the system when there's no economic kind of incentive behind it, right? The rankings, both negative and positive. Your competitors can give you negative rankings, and vice versa. You can rig those rankings, and so that's also, blockchain is perfect for that.
Okay, and your actual services that you guys are focusing right now. What are the actual services inside that health services offered? And then you're going to focus on short term and long term.
So with St. Jude, it essentially, pretty much just their network of providers, and it's pretty full encompassing. As far as our own network, we were focusing on physical, occupational, and speech therapy, and then on nurse practitioners and some doctor specialties, but pretty limited. Yeah, I'm talking about our kind of business of 3 years.
No, yeah, okay.
But going forward, it's basically building a network where you can have a membership and pretty much essentially get any kind of provider on if you live in a certain geography in the United States, and then globally as well. That's the goal.
Okay. And so right now people are actually in California can already benefit from your business, right?
Yeah. If we haven't rolled out the membership plan yet, but essentially it will be a monthly membership that will give people access to this network, and it will be amazing. I mean, like I already kind of take advantage of it. Like personally, like my girlfriend, for example, needed an MRI, and she went through her insurance, which she pays $500 for monthly just for her insurance. And then the insurance basically quoted $2,400 for an MRI and gave her a 10% discount. So she would have had to pay through her insurance 20. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. So in our network, she was able to get the same MRI for $400. And these are kind of discounts that you can negotiate. And the crazy thing is, if insurance covered her MRI, it would have probably paid $400 for that MRI. That's how effed up the system is. And that's why you need to decentralize it and take away these, fat cats middlemen that, pay themselves $18 million salaries and, just for shuffling paper. And that's what blockchain is about, is democratizing and giving, we as patients pay for our care, or as citizens, depending on what country you're from, right? And then the government or the insurance company basically manages it for you, even though you're the one ultimately paying for it. It's just crazy.
It is, and I'm glad someone is proactively trying to solve that issue.
Yeah, and we don't. And having said that, obviously we're not here to fight regulators or fight powers to be and governments. We're here to work with them to actually provide a better solution. So initially we're filling in the gaps, and literally in the United States it's called gap insurance, right? Because it's neither HMO nor PPO for those who are from the United States. And globally we're going to work on medical tourism, or your ability to get service that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get through the government or your provider in the normal system, whether it's because of timing or quality or whatever. And we're going to fill those gaps, because I don't want to be Don Quixote fighting mills and doing something that but eventually hopefully we'll get there, and we'll be able to be an alternative solution that people actually control.
Exactly. And you can't, just like Uber is the biggest taxi service without cars, right? You guys, want to be the biggest platform without actual doctors, but the doctors are the one who come to you just like patients, and you just want to connect them in the best possible way for both parties.
That's right. And ultimately, I even see us working with governments. We started very preliminary. I mean, obviously, like talking to the government of Korea or some other governments, it's a long process. But I could see us being, an operating system for healthcare for some smaller country, shortly, once we have the technology built out and the solution built out, or for small insurance companies that want to be competitive with bigger insurance companies, because we provide them a way to basically attract better providers and ensure that because providers will know that they're going to get paid, and but also control fraud issues and some of the other issues, and basically what Kaiser is what Kaiser is doing, right? Because they own the whole supply chain. And so, yeah.
Now, actual physicians, is there any in your team right now?
So we have, like I said, we've had over 1,000 physical, occupational, and speech therapists. We have over 100 nurse practitioners and some other, limited doctor specialties on telehealth platform. As far as St. Jude Network, it's in the pilot, and we haven't even announced it completely yet. But obviously, as we execute and prove to them that we can execute, it's a pretty big network. We're talking to fourth largest chain of clinics in Russia, for example, to be their solution and partnering with them. So, and we're talking to an association of plastic surgeons in Korea, for example. So, some big things happening. They take time, but yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure you wouldn't be able to disclose any details, until the things are signed, right? So, now there's a question coming from Nate in the chat. He says, "What do you think the biggest advantage is for someone to use a platform abroad? Is it the price or quality, or a mix of both, in your opinion?"
It's a mix of both, and it's I'd say it's being more safe. Knowing that you're not gonna get messed up. So it's some sort. It's a at least certain level of quality, and definitely price as well. Because by ensuring that the payment happens, you're cutting out so much administrative and time costs, which time is money, especially for healthcare providers. And there's some potential even tax arbitrage for Korean plastic surgeons. So basically, you can attract better, higher quality talent. And Metcalf law is very powerful. Obviously, the more momentum you get, the better quality of doctors you can get, and then it just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
What do you mean by the tax arbitrage?
So, and this is again not finalized, but we'll need to go through, but a lot of the platforms, when they launched, they had some sort of arbitrage that helped them, right? Like with Uber, for example, in New York, you didn't have to buy $1 million taxi medallion, or with Airbnb, you didn't have to pay tourist taxes, which could be huge in cities, right? And so these Korean plastic surgeons, they actually pay 50% tax on revenue.
On everything.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and they're because it's a it's government ran system. Like the normal doctors in Korea don't really make that much money. They just receive salary, right? So everyone wants to be a plastic surgeon. That's why it's like such a huge, Gangnam Seoul is like a mecca of plastic surgeons, just like LA is for, in the United States. And so what happens is that with ability to take well tokens and have actual reserves, so it will almost be like a stable coin where there will be reserve backing up the well token for these surgeons, but they will basically be able to hold these well tokens in the system and stake them for reputation or arbitration or other things. And so they will be able to delay the payment on the taxes. And depending on, kind of how we can work it out with an accounting firm, it may become a long-term gain instead of this, crazy 50% tax, sort of kind of like long-term gain on carry interest that, private equity firms pay. So it's just one of the things that we're looking at.
Yeah, that's very good, because I mean, if I worked as a physician, the last thing I would do is give away half my money I earned myself.
Yeah, it's true, and so some of these Korean plastic surgeons actually go to China and open these mobile clinics and do plastic surgery there.
Really?
Because it's, and with this crowd sale, we're basically traveling the world, right? The team, and we're seeing all sorts. I hear crazy stories of wrong arms being amputated,
Ouch.
by mistake, and just some really crazy stuff. I thought that I was a bad case, right, as a patient, but you hear just amazing stories. I mean, people literally die. It's like a battlefield out there because the healthcare system is so controlled, and the motivation, we're motivating A when we want B, right? We're like, the incentives are misaligned, and yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Now, speaking of the actual crowd sale, you guys did already hit your soft cap of a couple million, though, right?
Yeah. We're actually, the soft cap was 3 million. We covered that, and we're on. Hopefully shortly we'll be we're moving along. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's very reassuring that when a soft cap is reached for a project, it's already has the money necessary to function. Everything else is just everything additional is just an extra money to make it happen faster and easier, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And build the network effects and make sure the software is that much better, for sure.
Okay. Now, for the actual funds raised, what proportions are being spent where? I mean, I'm sure you don't have the actual statistics in front of you, but just generally.
So there's definitely, you need software and the platform to be robust. So a big chunk of initial money will go towards that, and then you basically need marketing dollars to attract both the doctors and patients. And having built the largest therapist network in Southern California, we've learned some things how to do it very efficiently. And what's great about the crowd sale is that video like we did, and we're working with a pretty famous kind of studio that does these kind of viral. So the goal is basically to become kind of a Dollar Shave Club type marketing machine of healthcare, and provide this. So basically, it's development of the platform and marketing to engage both sides of the platform.
That's very good. Now, for the actual people who are interested, for learning more about how this functions, even trying out the demo themselves, right? They can definitely go ahead and take a look at joinwell.io, correct?
That's right. Yeah, and as we say on our, join it, use it, grow it. Join our ICO, help us grow it. Use it, and help us grow it together.
Awesome. And do you have any final thoughts you want to add to this amazing discussion? I know I actually learned a lot myself, and I actually want to give you guys a nice statistic that I actually learned because of this project, that I think the third leading cause of death in America is mistreatment and misdiagnosis, right? Medical
That's right.
related. Everything related to medical, right?
Yeah, over 250,000 deaths. So
Per
if
year.
you expand per year,
Jesus.
so if you expand it globally, that's over 5 million, globally, and I would argue it's even higher. And then if you add to it mistreatment and non-treatment, where arguably 40% of the world's population don't have access to adequate healthcare, which we also want to help solve with online pharmacy and some virtual platform, right? Like in Africa, where with micropayments, you can give people access to at least, proper medication. So yeah. And another great thing that I wanted to mention that we haven't discussed is that we're not taking U.S. investors for the ICO just to be completely compliant and make sure our token is a utility token. However, we want to give everyone an opportunity to be part of our project, because we really believe that you are, who should own this network. And so we're doing something pretty unprecedented in ICO circles by giving people ability to actually buy equity in our project. So if you're a U.S. accredited investor, or for example, for Chinese investors or others, you can basically choose one or the other. You can buy utility tokens if you're non-U.S., or you can participate in equity.
Now, as a U.S. investor, you can actually buy equity and convert it back to tokens.
So that's actually one point that we're still in discussions with our attorneys. SEC, changes these laws all the time. So right now, it's undecided right now. So right now, for sure, we're given an opportunity to invest in equity. As far as the conversion into tokens, that's to be determined.
Yeah, and
so it's a white
personally,
list. For the equity, it's a white list because we haven't,
yeah.
determined
And because of
this
regulations, you do have to do everything that you can from your end of the deal to make sure you guys are compliant. But at the end of the day, let's be honest. I'm sure people who will find ways to invest in something they love, right? And that's what just happens in the ICO world. It's a beautiful place to be in, and I'm just welcome to the blockchain, man. I'm glad somebody's making this change happen, and I'm glad it's somebody as capable as you.
Thank you so much, Nicholas.
And
Great
thank
to
you
be
guys for watching
on your live stream. Thank you, everyone.
Now, if you guys have any additional thoughts, make sure you guys post them in the comments. And if you made it this far, it's been a pretty awesome 40 minutes. I personally learned a lot. Definitely make sure you check out the white paper. Read more about the project. Rewatch that fun video. I watched it at least 3 times personally. I think it has like 300,000 views or so far, right?
No, I think it's like 850,000 or something. Or I haven't checked last. Over 800,000, yeah.
Yeah, that really was an awesome video, and
thank you.
So I have a comment right now saying that people love this concept, and some person works for Multiplan and says that credential healthcare problems are the middleman, and it's just so many people are trying to solve this, but no one's actually doing it as productively like you guys are. Now, is there anything? My final question is, what kind of competition you're looking at in the crypto world, and what kind of competition you're looking from the old world kind of businesses, right?
So old world, I mean, they're trying to adapt blockchain, but I think it's pretty, it's pretty clear. It's like, I don't know, some of the old webs like Disney going on the web, right? It's not, Disney is not Reddit, right? And then as far as competition, a lot of the early healthcare kind of blockchains focused on EMR, electronic management records. And I personally haven't come from healthcare, been in healthcare for 3 years. I know companies that have spent hundreds of millions of dollars, or like Veterans Affairs, spend over $1 billion. It's a gigantic problem, interoperability of records. And my personal opinion is that it's not the right area to focus on. I think that the trust and the payment is really the rails that will enable us to build this platform and decentralize. And that's what we're focusing on.
That's awesome.
And I don't know others in blockchain that are focusing the same way. I mean, there are some people that, are trying to, solve maybe medical tourism, or there's a few other chains coming out, obviously, because it's a huge problem. I mean, in the United States alone, it's a $3 trillion industry, healthcare. So basically $3 trillion of transactions happen in the United States alone. So, and worldwide, I think it's 8 trillion. So it's by far the biggest industry in the world. And as we age and, grow older and older and live longer, it's going to become a bigger and bigger problem. And great, yeah, we can fly to Mars and save humanity. And I'm a huge fan of Elon Musk. But I think internally, as a humankind, healthcare is really where we need to focus to make sure that we can live on this planet, longer and happier.
And enjoy crypto longer. Hey, it's been awesome, and hopefully, we'll touch base again in another live stream, so you guys can have an update on how things are going. I'm definitely looking forward to in a couple weeks or months, touching base again. And if you guys do want to watch more live streams like this, and hopefully we'll do another one shortly with Ildar, you can definitely subscribe if you made it this far. And you guys are awesome for watching. Thank you for being here with us. See you guys later.